Indonesia, an archipelago country located in Southeast Asia, known for the fascinating nature. Have you ever wondering, how are all those islands become one nation we know today? Back in 400 BC, the discoveries of Indian trade goods and inscriptions found in eastern Kalimantan and West Java. The commerce of the Indian and Chinese would have also brought the religion of Buddhism and Hinduism to the island. In the 7th century, the Sriwijaya Empire were formed. Originating from the island of Sumatra, the Buddhist Empire of Sriwijaya faced a decline after the Chola Empire from India appointed their king in 1025. From that point on, Sriwijaya Empire collapsed, making room for the Hindu kingdom of Majapahit Empire found in 1292. The Majapahit Empire dominated the modern-day Indonesian region throughout the 13th and 14th century. The Majapahit Empire began its downfall after the death of one of their leader Gajah Mada in 1364, and the following death of King Hayam Wuruk in 1389. After the Majapahit Empire collapsed, the Muslims took over the archipelago. Many different sultanates found success throughout the island as a result. In the 16th century, the Spanish and the Portuguese were the first Europeans to arrive at the modern-day Indonesia, and later, the Dutch and of course the British. The Portuguese were pushed out by the arrival of the Dutch in the 17th century. The Dutch East India was formed in order to control trade between the Dutch Republic and the nation throughout the Indian Ocean. The Dutch dominates the trade throughout the East Indies. During the 18th century though, the company began to struggle from conflict, corruption, and slow collapse into bankruptcy. In the 1800s, the Dutch East Indies was founded, made up of what would later become Indonesia. It served as the new Dutch colonial administration in the archipelago. The establishment grew over 19th and part of 20th century. In the course of Dutch colonization, the Indonesian people were treated horribly unfair. The local farmers were mandated to set aside 20% of their own property in order to grow crops for the Dutch to export, such as tea, cinnamon, pepper, coffee, and sugar. At the very start of 20th century, the Dutch installed a new system known as the ethical policy. This new program brought changes such as construction of new schools in the region. Even with this improvement, not every local was impacted and still feel oppressed by the colonial authority. Unfortunately for the people of the archipelago, the fight of freedom was interrupted by the arrival of Japanese during the World War II. At first, the people are not completely displaced by what they saw as a liberation, and as the Axis power began to face defeat in the World War, they threw their support even further behind the Indonesian independence movement. During the 1944, the Japanese declared their goal of creating a self-governed East Indies, which was later confirmed in the August of 1945, when the Terausi Hisauchi summoned Muhammad Hatta and Sukarno, two Indonesian independent movement leaders. Hisaishi informed them that Japan intended to make an immediate transfer of independence. The two nationalist men announced Indonesia independence, declaring it an independent republic.
Proklamasi. Kami, bangsa Indonesia, dengan ini menyatakan kemerdekaan Indonesia. Hal-hal yang mengenai pemindahan kekuasaan dan lain-lain diselenggarakan dengan cara saksama dan dalam tempo yang sesingkat-singkatnya. Jakarta, 17 Agustus 1945, atas nama bangsa Indonesia, Soekarno, Hatta.
The proclamation of an independent republic was not really simple though, and started a series of clashes between Indonesian and the colonizing force of both the British and the Dutch. And finally, in the final week of 1949, the Dutch finally recognized Indonesia. The following year were a time of political and constitutional development, and today, Indonesia is still growing and developing as an independent nation. The Republic of Indonesia is now led by their 7th President Joko Widodo of the PDIP, or Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle. So yeah, that's the simplified history of Indonesia. This video is made for 5K subscriber celebration. I'm really sorry if there's some mistake in my word. I spent a lot of time editing this video. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Ayo maju, ayo maju,